and it will also mark the release of Paranormal Activity 2 on DVD. Do you think you'll invest in any of those for your collection?
Maybe. I'm not sure. All I know is I really want to get my Scream collection down because I have Scream 2 on DVD, but I'm having a really hard time finding Scream 1, and I don't know why.
Well, I actually have a copy. I don't know how hard it is to find one. You might want to check on Amazon or eBay or something like that. I don't have a DVD, so it might be a little difficult to get those. I don't know. I have a VHS, but what I actually found is like a director's cut version of the film, which had a lot of extra features, so it was very interesting to see that. I found it at like a half-off video store or something, so that was pretty cool. But, remember we talked last week, I don't know if you remember this, last week we talked about, since Scream 4 is coming out, how they might come out with like all the Screams in a box set or anthology and do some re-releases. Do you remember talking about that last week?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something you could look into if they come back out with that. Oh, get this. There's another rumor for 2011, Jeepers Creepers 3.
Oh, God, why?
What, do you have something to say about Jeepers Creepers? Do you have a problem with them?
I have 1 and 2 on DVD.
Oh, now, are you interested in these, or?
Well, the first one I really didn't like, but the ending was kind of, I don't know, the ending was creepy. And then the second one, the ending for that one really intrigued me, too, because the old man who was sitting in the rocking chair, he said as soon as that thing's going to wake up, he was going to shoot it again.
So are you looking forward to the third coming out?
I just want to see exactly what are they going to do in the third one? Oh, boy.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out.
Oh, God.
We'll have to watch and find out. But Jeepers Creepers 3 coming out, and that's one of those titles. It may not be the best horror movie of all time, but when you hear Jeepers Creepers, 9 times out of 10 people have heard about it.
And if they haven't heard about it, they've heard about the song that goes with the movie. Can never get that out your head.
Exactly. Well, we got some other ones here. We'll just kind of go over a big, broad list. And I don't know if this is all that accurate. I'm actually taking this information from MovieInsider.com, so this could all be to be determined. Some of this could be rumor, but, there is quite a bit of accuracy I've seen in here. 2011 horror movies, Friday, January the 7th, The Absent. Friday, January the 28th, Seconds Apart. Friday, February 18th, Vanishing on 7th Street. And stop me if you find something that's really intriguing, and I'll go in to read more detail on it.
You said The Vanishing?
Vanishing on 7th Street.
Vanishing on 7th Street. I think I have heard of that.
Coming out? It's coming out in 2011.
I'm trying to think. Yes. Yeah, I've heard about it now that I think about it.
Here's what it's going to be about. It reads, in this film, when a massive power outage plunges the city of Detroit into total darkness, a disparate group of individuals find themselves left alone. The entire city's population has vanished into thin air, leaving behind heaps of empty clothing, abandoned cars, and lengthening shadows. Soon the daylight begins to disappear completely as the survivors gather into an abandoned tavern. They realize the darkness is out to get them, and only their rapidly diminishing light sources can keep them safe.
That, to me, almost sounds like The Happening. What else?
It does. It sounds like all the other movies where everybody else dies and they're the only ones left.
Because it sounds a lot like The Happening.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too unique, besides the light factor and how the light can save them. That's the only thing that I would consider unique at all with that.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, moving on, Friday, March the 4th, Old Cats. Friday, March the 11th, Red Riding Hood.
Oh, I heard about that.
Is that horror?
Well, it's basically based off Little Red Riding Hood, but just with a little added horror twist to it. To me, it's going to sound a little bit like Alice in Wonderland, the new one. Like how it's supposed to be a children's story, but then it takes an eerie, dark, creepy turn for the worse.
Yeah, it's from Warner Brothers, but I'm reading the genre tags right now. It lists as fantasy, thriller, suspense, romance, and horror. So one of those combination films there. Friday, March 18th, we have Beastly. Friday,
Heard
April
of that.
4th, Insidious, and Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, I've heard of that too. Beastly is actually based off a book, and it's not really that scary.
I'm interested in that. That's what really catches that caught my eye. Mother's Day. Let me read the description of that. 3 brothers on the run from the law head for home, only to discover that their mother lost the house in foreclosure. Mother ingeniously orchestrates her son's escape, teaching the house's new owners their guests a few lessons along the way. That seems kind of evil.
Well, but I don't think Beastly would be up your alley.
Which movie?
Beastly.
What is that about? Do you know?
I know it's got Vanessa Ann Hudgens in it, so it's more like a Beauty and the Beast kind of story.
And how is that horror?
Well, originally the dude, he's placed under a curse. He turns into an ugly monster. You know basically how the Beauty and the Beast storyline is?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more like a thriller, kind of.
Sounds crappy to me.
Yeah, it's based off a book.
All right, we go on. Friday, April 15th, Scream 4.
Yay.
Friday, May 13th, Priest. Now, I want to read the description on that because I'm kind of wondering, could this possibly relate to an exorcist? They've done so many exorcist films, it's really, it's really just been overdone in my opinion.
Yeah.
But here's the description. Priest, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller, is set in an alternate world, one ravaged by centuries of war between man and vampires. The story revolves around a legendary warrior priest from the last vampire war who now lives in obscurity among the other downtrodden human inhabitants walled-in dystopian cities ruled by the church. When his niece is abducted by a murderous pack of vampires, Priest breaks his sacred vows to venture out on an obsessive quest to find her before they turn into one of them. He is joined on his crusade by his niece's boyfriend, Cam Giganda, oh boy, a trigger-fingered young wasteland sheriff, and a former warrior priestess who possesses otherworldly fighting skills. Doesn't sound like my type of movie.
Honestly, it does not. It sounds more like Underworld meets a old century war film.
But it also sounds like, you remember the movie, was it called Taken? Where the girl was abducted and then her father went out to get revenge?
Oh, yeah, I love that movie.
It seems similar to that as well, a little bit of a twist with that.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on. Friday, August 5th, The Darkest Hour. Friday, August 9th, Fright Night.
Heard of that.
Friday, August 26th, Final Destination 5. Now, I'm a fan of the Final Destination films, too, so that's something that excites me.
Mhm.
Are you a fan at all of the Final Destination films, or?
I have 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, let's read the description for that, because that's a pretty popular one. It's going to be 3D, I believe.
See, that's a 3D movie I can actually like.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is shot in 3D. The 5th installment of the franchise in which teens escape a deadly accident only to later discover that death is hunting them down. Typical storyline there. The opening scene will involve a suspension bridge, and another scene reportedly involves a character undergoing laser eye surgery.
Ooh.
Interesting. But that's definitely something I'm going to check out. I've always liked those Final Destination films.
I do too, because it's like, with every Final Destination, they try and find a new, clever way to kill them.
Sort of like Saw.
And have you noticed this, but whenever I'm watching a Final Destination film, they'll always give like a little foreshadow in there to let you know, okay, how they're going to die.
Yes, because that's what comes back to haunt them in the end. They're always warned of death.
Mhm.
Moving on, Friday, September the 2nd. Well, there's actually a shark movie, a shark thriller that's coming out, but it's currently untitled. But Friday, September the 9th, The Apparition. And for those of you who may not know what an apparition is some sort of a ghostly appearance. Ooh, The Apparition. That sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Let's read the description to that. When frightening events start to occur in their home, young people Kelly and Ben discover they are being haunted